Welcome to the New Dad Order podcast. Ray and I get together for part one of our four-part series where we talk about the dad identity crisis. Not necessarily a negative thing, but there are 4 parts to it that Ray and I go into. Part one will be from dating to dad and just the journey that we went on from the time we met the person that we were now married to being married and then kids coming along. My situation different than Ray's. Dated for a while, married for a while before a kid. Ray started dating and then became instant dad, instant father as well. Just the merging of families and cultures and just the dynamic that creates. Then we'll go into part 2 where it'll be the holy grail of everything, which is work-life balance that we all strive to have. Then we'll go into part 3 where reclaiming our identity as a dad, not necessarily in a bad way, but reclaiming the identity of the hobbies that we may have once had that we had to shed and the shift of things in life that we didn't necessarily see coming. And then part 4 where we talk about reconnecting with our spouse and not letting everything revolve around the kids. But we love our kids, but sometimes, there was an aspect that led us to wanting to date that person, and we try to get back to that and the things that we do. But I hope you enjoyed part 1 of the 4-part series. Make sure you drop us a comment below if you have anything to say. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Now, let's go.
Welcome to the New Dad Order podcast. My name is Ray. We got Parfait over there.
How's it going, everybody? Ray, how are you?
It's a wonderful day. So what's going on, man?
Oh, well, we were talking a little bit about some stuff going on in life and things that got us to where we are right now. And I realized that throughout that conversation, it basically translates into a bit of a dad identity crisis. And that could be, probably better than a midlife crisis. We've probably had some friends that went through a little bit of that. But dad identity crisis. And we wanted to do something a little different, a little unique, where we came up with things that were important to us from the standpoint of where we may have lost our identity from the time we started dating to getting married to having kids and to where we are now. And we narrowed it down to 4 specific things. And so what we're going to do is we're going to introduce those 4 things, and then we're going to go into each one. Those 4 specific things that we did were number 1, from dating to dad. So from the time we met the person that we're now married to dating them, getting married, and having a family. The next topic is work-life balance. After becoming a husband and a father and having a career and managing all those things that go along with it and having the right amount of balance in life, which is always key, it's probably the holy grail as far as an adult, looking for the proper work-life balance. And then we also have topic number 3 that we're going to get into, and it's going to be rediscovering ourselves and our new roles as a husband and a father and how we did that. So chronologically speaking, from dating to dad, a career with family, and then also getting back to who we were from the time we stopped being a dude with our boys to being a dad and a husband. And then the last thing is that we're going to get into our marriage beyond the kids, of not just having a relationship with our spouse that is strictly revolved around raising our kid, but reconnecting with them, however it may be, whether it be through faith, whether it be through finding those date nights or whatever it might be, but getting back to that. So we're going to get into that first topic, and we're going to talk about what it was like from going from dating to dad and the process that we went through. Both Ray and I came from unique situations in the sense that they are polar opposites. Hey guys, of it.
Want to talk to you real quick about a product that is really great for recovery that has just become a very vital part to me as I continue to age, and all these dads out there listening that are going through the same thing, that want to make sure that they can keep their energy level up and get that rest that they need. Thirdsy's a product loaded with a bunch of things, which one thing it does not have is melatonin, so you won't be groggy in the morning. Check it out. Promo code NDOZZZ to get you a discount at checkout. You won't be disappointed. It'll help all your recovery to get you ready for the next time.
Ray, your dating spell with your wife, how long did that last? She'd be thrilled to know it took this long to know how long you dated.
Yeah. We dated, I want to say it was close to a year.
Okay.
We did it close to a year before, 2000. It was a year. So we did it close to a year.
A year before you guys got engaged?
Before we got engaged and married, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So polar opposite for my wife and I.
Mm-hmm.
We dated for a really long time. We dated 5 years.
5?
Yeah, 5 years. So 2006, and we got married in 2011. And so,
you know what the crazy part is? That's when we started, right? And then you came to our small, deep down in the bayou wedding not Homa, but right outside of Homa. What's that area right outside of Homa? Oh, I can't believe I can't remember that. At that little small Baptist church.
I'm not 100% positive. It was like Schriever Gray.
Schriever.
Okay, all right. I
Schriever.
thought it was Schriever.
Yeah.
I wasn't 100% sure.
Right outside Schriever, right off that main road. Well, they all look the same.
Yeah, I mean, it's next to the bayou. How about that?
Yeah, right next to the bayou. Yeah. So,
so no, ours was a lot different. Dated for 5 years, very short engagement too. We got engaged, which we got engaged and married on the 2 dates that never remained the same. So we got engaged on an Easter Sunday, and we got married the day after Thanksgiving. So
day after Thanksgiving?
The day after Thanksgiving.
Wow.
And so that was fun. Actually, it was really fun. Right. And talk about polar opposites. Your wedding, small, intimate. Mine, I don't even know how many people were there.
Wow.
My wife's still self-conscious about the size of our wedding because she doesn't like big crowds. And I'm like, where's the party at? And we had a blast. So, I mean, it was absurd. It was there was a lot of people.
I think that's the way it's got to go, though. I think that's the way.
Well, we talked about having a small wedding, and it just wasn't possible from the standpoint of once we started going, we were like, maybe we can get married in the city, in New Orleans. And then those reception halls, it was a max of like 300 people or like 350 people, which sounds like a good crowd until we went through just our family that we actually stay in contact with from her side and my side. And we were at like 280 people. Yeah, it was next level just from the fake uncles and aunts that we all have, down here. And I know it's not just down here in the South, but a lot of places where you have a lot of people that you call aunts and uncles that are not truly your aunts and uncles, but just that close to the family. And then just the second cousins, third cousins that we all still did stuff with. So,
well, that's the difference though for y'all. You guys were from the area.
Correct.
Whereas she was from the area and I was from well, my parents lived in El Paso. Our extended family was in Arkansas. And we weren't as close as probably you were to your family that's here locally.
That makes sense.
So that's why, I mean, ours was smaller. I mean, I brought you guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I brought you guys, my poker boys.
So.
And to throw that thing because it just, financially we weren't there. Right? Yeah. We weren't there. So, yeah, it was good. She loved it. That's all that mattered to me.
No, I mean, that's the wedding is it's an event. It's all leading up to one big thing. We had a blast. People still talk about, and I will say that to anybody who ever says it, like young cousins, anybody get married. There are 2 things that people will only remember about the wedding. They won't remember the decoration on the table. They won't remember if the cake had the wrong design on it. They won't remember any. They will remember the food and the music. Those are like the only 2 things that I think people truly walk away with because to this day, people still talk about how good the food was at our wedding and how awesome the band was.
You know what? That sucks.
What sucks?
Well, because I went to AT's. You know Alex.
Oh, yeah.
I went to his. It was in the French Quarter. I remember the celebration. It was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember the food.
Then it must not
have
been
good. I was a big
good.
boy.
It must not have been good. The wedding was fun. Food wasn't memorable. So, But yeah, so
tough.
All right, so we go from that. So Carol and I, like I said, we dated for a long time. We got to experience a lot of things too. We did a lot of personal traveling as well on our own. So she
in those 5 years,
not even together. She took so many. I mean, we were able to take a few trips here and there, but we did so much more stuff on our own. That was right before we started dating, was whenever I went to Munich, Germany with my friends and we did Oktoberfest. I'd go to Vegas every summer, once or twice during the summer, just kind of depending on how that worked out. She went to Europe a couple times. So we got to experience things dating, and we still got to do things separately. And so I think that was really a really key thing in our relationship, because the fact that we were able to do that, and we were 25 years old when we started dating, or no, younger than that. Yeah, you were younger than that. We were 24 or so, right? Yeah, that sounds right.
24.
Yeah, a really long time ago. And so, but we were in our mid 20s when we got when we started dating, and we got married when we were 29. And so we were used to doing things on our own. We didn't hold each other to it, so we weren't jealous of the other person. When we were really happy that she got to experience traveling and I got to experience my thing, and we never held that against one another.
Right.
And so I think that was really key as far as things moving along and helping us not resent each other for dumb little things. Because I didn't resent the fact that she went on a trip to Europe with her little brother.
Right.
You know, I was happy. I mean, I was like, hey, yeah, bring me back something cool. This is a perk of dating someone who is in Europe right now. You know, so I got a cool gift.
Yeah. Before I met my wife, I was just, the consummate, just single guy. I thought I was going to be that guy. I was going to go to all the weddings. I was going to be that single guy, just enjoy myself. And I never thought,
groomsman.
Oh yeah. I never thought I was going to get locked down at all. And then
locked down?
Yeah.
Not usually a term that.
Oh, it's a lockdown. Because in 2006, I decided I was going to move back to El Paso. And then I met her. We started dating. And I went to El Paso for Christmas.
Okay.
And I was when I was going to make that move, that's when I was going to stay. Came back. Locked down.
Things worked out.
Yeah.
So how was that? How was you went back? All right. So talking about the dating part of it, you went back to El Paso, skipped a holiday. I say skip the holiday. You went back with your family, and she was here with hers. Mm-hmm. And then that was probably the last holiday you guys spent apart from each other.
Correct.
After that, did she come from a big family that still got together for holidays, or are they kind of?
I want to say.
Well, even after you guys got married,
I want to say probably before. Mm-hmm. But her mom passed away when she was a child. Okay, when she was 9. Dad was in and out. So it was more grandpa, grandma. So with her kids and some of her other siblings, they would get together, but it wasn't like a big family thing. Yeah.
No, I think
even though that's what she wanted to do, though.
That's what she wanted.
Yeah.
And she'll have the opportunity to do it as a grandmother one day.
Oh yeah.
Which is great. No, I think that's really, it's really important for those situations to be embraced whenever you have them. And what I mean by that is I was fortunate enough to spend a lot of holidays with a lot of cousins, and Carolyn was as well. A lot of holidays, a lot of cousins, a lot of family time. And that became something that we had to manage between the two of us because of the fact that we had families that still got together so much of how do we split our time? Because it wasn't just go to my side of the family. It wasn't just go to her side of the family. No, it was go to my dad and my brothers and sisters, as well as going to my grandmother's house, my mom's mom, and then as well as going to the other grandparents' house, my dad's parents, and then going to her grandparents. So we were hitting so many different stops.
Like it's like 4 or 5 stops, huh?
Oh, it was insane. I mean, we would just chalk it up to like $300 in fuel for that weekend because we would leave, like after we got married, we were living on the North Shore, and we would drive from Madisonville to Lafayette to Baton Rouge to Houma to Thibodaux to
but
down
she's
to
from that area, right?
She's from Thibodaux area, but it was just this massive circle for holidays, and then we were like, all right, we've got to do something before we go crazy with it. And so it was like, all right, well, we're gonna go to this side for that. We would still hit both sides of the family. We're going to go to this grandparent and our parents' house, and we're going to go to that grandparents and our parents' house. But it was no, I think it's really great to have that, and it was really great for me, and I think that was part of what I know it was part of what attracted me to her in that situation of her family doing those big family gatherings, because it was so familiar to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is the only thing I know. It would have been really weird for me to date someone who's like, no, we don't get together for Christmas. Like, you don't like see all your cousins for every Christmas since you were like a little baby to the time you're in your 20s. And if someone said no, they're like, well, that's weird. And they're like, you see every one of your cousins every single Christmas since you were 5 years old or 2 years old to the time you're 25. And we're like, yeah.
Wow.
and that's how it was. You know, even my cousins that we didn't see, we would send a text to. Like if they didn't show up, we weren't like, oh, where's so and so? We're like, oh, where are you right now? Oh, we just left. Oh man, all right. So like we miss each other because everybody's on that different schedule, but we still got together. It was big family gatherings like that. But growing up in El Paso, family, obviously you didn't make a trip to Korea.
So no, my dad was an Army guy, so his family was in Arkansas and in different places around the country. So it was just us four, me, my mom, sister.
And that's how holidays were.
That's how it was. So that's what I was used to. Just the three of us. Four of us. And then when I met my wife, it was the kids and then her brother and maybe another stepsister or stepbrother or somebody and their kids, and then some other, like some random relatives, but I'll always be her brother. So when we finally got together, we wanted to try to give the big family vibe to our kids.
Okay, so how did you do that?
Well, I mean, obviously with those kids, and then like my brother, or her brother, had two girls and a boy. So we would always try to have them over.
Okay. So you make a conscious effort to include that family in there.
Yeah.
Which is huge. It's huge as far as starting to build that, because like I said, Carolyn and I did this. Our like tour of South Louisiana for holidays wasn't just because we didn't have a kid at the time. We didn't even have the little dude.
Right.
So that was just her and I from dating to marriage, and getting married in 2011. Guess what? 5 years later, before we had our little dude. So we were married for a long period of time without a kid, where we did more things together. So it was like we had that long dating period that is, I mean, it was great. I wouldn't want anything else because it was my experience. I don't have anything else to compare it to. And then the long marriage period before having a kid. And then once having the kid, like you said, like you wanted to make an effort, or she wanted to make an effort to include that, have that for the kids to have gatherings with extended family, and not just be to where you came from a situation where it was just you four.
Just us, yeah.
And then she wanted to make sure that she incorporated, whether you're a brother or step siblings and their kids as well. So your kids could, have that big holiday experience.
So I got locked in quickly. Much quicker than you. 5 years, you got to experience your wife at a certain level.
Right.
And I'm not saying, and what I'm trying to say is it was just you and her.
Yes, we got to be very selfish with our time with each other.
Right. Versus me, it was an Insta family. I had a 3-year-old, I had a 5-year-old, and a 14-year-old, 13 or 14-year-old right away. Two, the dad was, wishy-washy. The other one, dad was there, and we would have to go back and forth on that one too, because
so you wouldn't have the kids for every single holiday.
Well, not everyone. So it would be like Christmas. I think we got him, but Thanksgiving we might have got him for just a little while. Then he had to go. Right? We split Thanksgiving, I think, and we got him for Christmas. But I think we had to split him for Christmas too, until he graduated from high school and he decided which way he wanted to go.
What do you think is the biggest key to the, I guess the split time, the joint custody that kids have in splitting up holidays? What do you think the biggest key is to making sure that the celebration for a holiday stays, no one's left
Here with
out?
New Dad Order Podcast to talk to you about a new pre-workout, relatively new to the market, new to myself as well, but it's getting the job done.
It's not loaded with caffeine like a lot of the other pre-workouts. So if that's what you're looking for, then this probably isn't the product. But it is based in nootropics, which actually helps brain function. So if you've ever deep dove into that, this is part of what that product has right here. Going to get you ready for the workout. I'm a 5 a.m.er. Like I said, I need it. A lot of flavors. Hit the link in the description. It'll take you to the website. You'll get a new dad order discount. Pick your flavor. Bunch of other products as well. They have canned energy drinks. So thanks for listening. Check out Dubby.
And I don't mean like just from a gift giving thing, but like the whole experience, right? Like the waking up on Christmas morning and going to church and then fixing the food. Like you obviously had to feel like someone. Did you ever feel guilty, or did you ever feel bad because they weren't with you, or did you just feel bad because you selfishly just wanted them there with you and you knew that they were going to their dad's house? Or
Well, I think with my oldest Cody, I think he was with us. Like we'd have him for that.
okay,
For the morning. I don't know what you guys did for Christmas. If it was Christmas Eve, you get to open a present or anything like this, anything of that nature, but we didn't do that.
okay,
So it would be in the morning. And I didn't like getting up in the mornings, right? Even back then, I didn't like getting up in the mornings, but that was our thing. And so we'd have him. So we were fortunate that way, that we were able to split that holiday that way. And then in the afternoon or whatever, he would go and hang out with his dad and his extended family, his grandpa, et cetera, et cetera.
So what was
on
the
that
biggest?
side.
What was the biggest effort made to? Well, so all the kids were there for like a Christmas morning.
Oh, yeah.
So you never. All right. Well, that's good though, because I'd imagine there's certain situations.
Fortunate that way.
Yes.
Yes, fortunate that way. Because like I said, the two youngest at the time, before the little one came, were their dad was wishy-washy, was in and out. So we always had him. The other dad, he had custody. So we had him. We got him every other weekend, and I think the holidays, we had him on the holidays. I think we had him early, and then he had to go back late.
And that is one thing where, unfortunate times where they say that have people get married, get divorced. That's just a statistic that's unfortunate, but it exists. And going through that now from a perspective of a friend, where I've had some friends go through a divorce and they have kids and they're all kind of going through that first series of holidays with the separation, and it's hard. It weighs on them, and rightfully so. And you don't have a very big community of guidance for that to because every situation is so unique whenever it comes to it.
Yeah.
Some people can split and it'd be a very, a mature situation, and then some of them are very petty. And just knowing that what I grew up with the big family, my wife grew up with the big family, and you grew up with the small family, but you still did everything together. And now seeing my friends try to navigate you have them here, I get them in the afternoon, and not ruin the holiday for the kid because of how bad they felt. And I've seen my friends do a very good job of controlling their emotions as they've gone through this. And I think that is the part where, as much as you don't want to have the emotional maturity, that good people will find a way to make good decisions and not make it about themselves, and still make that holiday experience with what it's supposed to be about, like of the family coming together and doing things.
Yeah, and the hope there as well is they've got a faith-based structure that allows them to be positive in those situations and able to look at the situation. Just like you said, I'm going to get them in the afternoon versus the mornings. Just used to the mornings. I'm so used to having my kid in the morning, and they're rubbing their eyes and they're like, oh, and the excitement of getting that gift in the morning, and they're sort of bleary-eyed still getting that gift. Yeah, it's tough when you can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
right?
that's
tough.
It is, and it's a reality that unfortunately a lot of kids have to deal with as well. In fact, Luke came home today from camp, and he was talking about. He said one of his buddies there, his parents got divorced today, and so and he's talking to me. I'm cooking tacos on the stove, and he's telling me that his buddy at camp, his parents got divorced. He was like, it was all because his mom said that she said hi, and his dad just kind of said hi and mumbled it, and they argued about that. And that was the takeaway from this little kid that's 9 years old that told his buddy at summer camp
Wow.
of why his parents got divorced. And I was like, it kind of, I mean, it hit me because you start to think, and I told him, I was like, that's not the reason. I was like, unfortunately, and I really didn't know. I'm like, how do I answer this question right now at this moment where he provides this bombshell as we're cooking tacos. He asks if he can help me cook the tacos. And then he tells me that his buddy's parents are getting divorced. And I'm like, well, I said, it was probably a lot more than that. They weren't happy, and they're going to, unfortunately, it won't be the last time that you have a friend that goes through this. And talking about the holidays, and now he's got a buddy that he knows that's parents are splitting up. And then he's got to process all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't even know how you process that if it's your parents, much less how do you process that whenever another kid doesn't have it. And I mean, I know I mentioned before, like not having my mother, so many people are like, man, how was Christmas without your mom? I'm like, the way it was forever. I don't really remember the ones that, that she was there. And so many of these kids, I mean, at 9, you're going to remember, but parents, I mean, your daughter at 3 years old, she's not going to ever remember a Christmas that mom and dad were together whenever, it's just not possible. Her Christmas experience is a good one because she was there with you for every one of them.
You would think.
I hope so. Yeah, as long as you didn't disappoint her, like gave her some Star Wars crap.
No, we never did that. They got everything they wanted. I mean, behind closed doors, I'd have to be like, honey, pull back a little bit. Pull back a little bit.
You're gonna be the Grinch. No, give them. They're only going to want that one thing for this year. Let them get it.
Yeah,
let them get it. If you have the means, why would you not?
No, I just thought it was funny because they were just she was, but it was because of her childhood. So. Because of her childhood, which was not a very good childhood.
Well, did she have the big family gatherings for her childhood?
Oh yeah,
they did
at times. At times, but she had a broken family. And then when mom passed away, I mean, she got with grandma, and I think when that finally got more permanent, I think she was with a lot of her cousins and stuff. So yeah, it got better, but at the same time, she wanted to make sure that these kids would always remember that at birthdays. I mean, look, I remember Easter. Okay, I would get a new suit, new clothes,
nice,
and maybe a basket. Right, we go. Mom did the hard-boiled eggs. We ran around the yard for a couple of eggs, and not my kids. They got a second Christmas.
Don't hate.
What was this? I am. I got a second Christmas. I was like, honey, those are all like legit gifts. That's what we do.
You know what though? But I'm not gonna.
That's what y'all do out here. Don't you?
I can't say that. That's. I don't know. I don't know if it's a geographical thing.
It's got to be.
I don't know.
But I think it's blowing up now because of the internets.
I don't know.
But in Texas, we didn't do it. My people on my block, we didn't do that. It was suits, new suits, Easter Sunday, and some baskets with some eggs and candy.
So
not all those toys.
Easter Bunny comes around, but
oh yeah.
But that's that's part of the fun of it, though. Whenever you get to buy the cool gifts again, you find a reason to, and that's all it is. That was that from the the dating to the marriage to the dad thing, and then once you get to be a dad, and it's a holiday, you have a reason to give your kids a gift. Just to solidify my spot as the favorite, I've got to make sure something cool appears.
That's probably why I wasn't the favorite.
I don't even have to do it to be the favorite. We established this in an earlier conversation with my wife today, actually.
But I try to get action figures and stuff for my kids.
Of course.
They didn't like them, so I'm like, honey, you're just going to have to get the gifts.
They don't.
I will provide.
Look, I'll take these and I'll just hang on to them since they don't want them.
I'll put them away in storage.
Yes.
But you're going to have to do it. I don't know what to get them. I mean, I got the oldest a nice remote control car, which is pretty cool. Like those huge, like
for what? For
birthday,
Easter?
for a birthday.
Oh, okay.
For a birthday.
All right.
So, yeah. So I mean, coming into being a single guy, coming into a situation, I don't know what they call that today. What are you simping? Was that simping or something of that nature?
I mean,
when you get with a lady that has kids, multiple kids, and you're like gaga over her, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I got into that situation where I was a guy who thought he was going to be just a bachelor for the rest of his life and just show up at his boys' weddings and like, where's the single women?
So,
and to what I am today, right? Stuck. And it's stuck in a good way. Stuck in a good way.
Yes, definitely. No.
Stuck in a good way.
Definitely stuck in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
Stuck in a good way. And that journey that took you from being single to dating to a dad. And we both had our own journey. Every single one of them is unique in that. But it is something that started to shape our conversation of this dad identity crisis. And basically this first topic of, from dating to a dad or dating to husband to a dad, the whole process in the middle, the dad identity crisis. And that's where we, this whole little 4-part series of it. And the first one it's very clean. It went from us dating and our journey through it and getting married and then becoming a dad. Some of us, it took a little longer to become a dad. Some of us knocked it out of the park in the first year and a half. but the journey and the reward are all the same. And then, as we go through it into the next one, where we start to talk about the work-life balance, because we've dated and we've gotten married and we have the kid. And, oh yeah, by the way, we have a career and we have to help provide for this family that we now have. And so we'll get into that one on the next one. We want to appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, give us a follow, drop a comment below if you'd like to let us know how your whole journey went. And until next time, thank you for joining us on
New Dad Order.